Hey guys, oh my gosh, I've been meaning to go live for like so long now and it just hasn't worked out. I have some Valor just to think well, just relax because I told my kids like not to bother me whatsoever for like 30 minutes. So I'm in my bathroom, you can see there's laundry, whatever, it is what it is. But so many of you have messaged me, and I'm talking like over 50 people, like I've talked to collaboratively within the past week of hormone issues, talking about the big V, right? Talking about like how people are feeling weird changes and seeing weird things, not only in their hormones and in their cycle, but elsewhere too. And so I wanted to kind of talk about it. I'm prefacing this with not your doctor, right? I am a nurse, and if one thing I learned from nursing school, it is I know how to find evidence-based, peer-reviewed studies. Okay, so I am really, really good at finding things and researching things that you might have questions to, that you might not have access to, or you might just not know what to look for. Okay, so this is kind of my I love to teach, I love to share what I've learned, but because times are so different right now and things are changing by the day, what I say today may not be evidence-based tomorrow, right? So we know this, we know that things change on the daily, and so I just want to like share with you my knowledge from a nursing perspective about why I think some of these changes are happening, why I feel like you know, just overall whatever. So I first want to tell you too that I support whatever you decide. So as a nurse, I have cared for drug dealers, I have cared for mothers who can't get off of meth or cocaine, I have cared for, or heroin, I have cared for people who have killed people, prisoners, like you name it, I've seen it, okay? I've been around the block. I know as a nurse, we take these people and we have to treat them no matter what, you guys, because they are still human beings, okay? And I think as a Christian, we have to, I personally, I take it as you still need to help people, right? Mother Teresa was huge on this. Show kindness, show love, and compassion. And some people have that, and that is what I do. And that is why I became a nurse in the first place, right? So I just wanted to like share that because it doesn't matter to me whether you get I'm going to say V, because I know Instagram is going to block me if I say anything about, you know, the thing that goes in your arm, okay? So I know that this is gonna happen, and I'm gonna slip, so hopefully I can, so I'm gonna call it the V, okay? But I know that, I lost my train of thought. I have my notes down here. So it doesn't matter. I don't care if you get it or not. Me, personally, I know some of you have asked, have I received the V? No, I chose for myself and my family not to at this point in time. That doesn't mean that we are V'd from the past, okay? This is so weird, I'm sorry. I have to speak in code. Stupid. Anyway, so right now it's just not, I don't feel that I personally want it, okay? And I'm just gonna leave it there because our family has a huge history of reactions to them, to the point where, you know, my son almost had cellulitis. There's a lot of different things. My mom has severe allergies to them, and not allergies, I guess it's more of a reaction, right? Chest pain, full body hives, things like that. And so we've just chose to not do that, okay, for our family. Your family is different, okay? So first I want to talk about mammograms. This came up in a topic this past week about how, and actually I've had a friend that had the same issue happen, where mammogram places are telling people or asking people if they have had the V, that they need to wait for their mammogram for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, why, right? So there are a few reasons. The one being, when you get the V, it causes an immune response in your body to create more lymphocytes, more, I'm trying to like kind of put this in layman's terms, just more inflammation in the body so that your body can help fight it, right? It is a lesser version of what they're trying to prevent. Any V is like that. So that's not just the CV, okay? This is for any V given, right? So what it does is your body is tagging these little receptors in your blood and in your body, and it's saying, oh, okay, so this is what it is. I'm gonna fight it a little bit because it's not that bad. I'm gonna fight it. It makes your immune response go up, and it causes, it can cause lymphedema, swelling, and make your lymph nodes be larger. So what is happening in the mammogram world is mammograms are showing tissue, swollen tissue, and it's not being, it's not showing up as anything. But if you feel a lump on your breast or in your armpits or anything like that, definitely seek out help. Seek out, call your physician. If you get regular mammograms, this is, this can happen, right? So our bodies and our lymph nodes are trying to get away, get everything away. It's trying to fight, right? And so they're going to be maybe more swollen and things like that, which show up on the mammogram, okay? So I want to read this for just a second because I think this is helpful in knowing a little bit more about inflammation. So inflammation is the immune system's response to harmful stimuli, such as pathogens, damaged cells, toxic compounds, okay, are you following me, or eradication. Inflammation is therefore a defense mechanism that is vital to health, right? If we didn't have inflammation to help fight off infection or disease, we would be dead. We would not be alive, right? So we'll come back to this inflammation thing, but that is why. So when we have inflammation, let's say on one side or the other, and we're getting a mammogram and that's showing inflamed tissue, a radiologist reads that mammogram and might think otherwise, that it's something else, okay? Now, if you feel that you have a lump or you feel something, I highly encourage you to press on and say, no, I either want the mammogram or I want an ultrasound, which can then determine and rule out more, okay? I get yearly ultrasounds. I used to get yearly mammograms, and I have weighed my things from that, but that is an option for you, okay? So an ultrasound is an option. You can go to a breast health expert. I highly recommend doing that because they know a lot more about that tissue, what things look like. And if you are at high risk for breast cancer, I highly recommend you're doing your self breast exams monthly, and that you are able to determine, what is normal and what is not. But that is the background with the V and the mammograms, okay? Next is breastfeeding and the V, or breastfeeding and the CV, okay? So breastfeeding is amazing, and if you can provide that milk to your infant or your child, it is going to help give that baby any antibodies that you may have to that baby. Now, those antibodies don't last real long once you're finished breastfeeding. So, and if you can't breastfeed, that's okay. I'm not shaming you or saying anything about this, okay? This is like just straight up facts. I'm very cut and dry, so if you don't get a fuzzy feeling from me, I'm really sorry. But these are just facts. So what they have found is that people with the C or who have gotten the V have been able to have higher IgG antibodies, which are the antibodies that help fight infection. And it is seen in milk. I don't know if you guys have like Googled like the difference between milk, breast milk, but it's really, really cool. Anyway, antibodies are much more higher in that breast milk if the mother has the C or has gotten the V, okay? And there are peer-reviewed studies on this. I'm happy to send them your way. I think one of them I actually had to pay for, so I'll see if I can get it. If I can't, your library too can get you free peer-reviewed evidence-based articles. So if you are into that sort of thing, reach out to them. Okay, so breastfeeding is amazing, but remember, it doesn't last forever. These antibodies don't last forever. So the study that I read showed that when the mother was giving breast milk not only to her infant, but to her, I think, toddler, like 3-year-old toddler, and to help prevent against, harmful getting sick, right? And this goes for any type of sickness too. So if you feel like let's say you're breastfeeding and you feel like you're sick, and you are, you're worried that your child or your infant is going to get sick as well, they're actually getting those antibodies from that sickness. So I always tell moms who come in sick and deliver and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick. Like I just can't stop coughing, or I can't, whatever. Same with allergies, things like that. That is all transmitted through the breast milk, which is pretty amazing. And breast milk does so much. It is so good. If you have a friend, phone a friend who has had it, I donated a lot of my milk with my children to people who needed it. And there are Eats on Feets. There are other places out there that actually take milk. So, okay. So that's breastfeeding. Highly recommend it. There's nothing against not doing it, okay? It is better to do it than to not do it, even if you do have the C or the B, okay? Periods. This is my favorite one. So, lots and lots of you, many of have been talking about, shout out to some Ninja and kombucha. So good. Okay, so many of you have been, I have noticed too, a change in my cycles. And I want you to first know that you are not alone. There's lots and lots of people out there who have seen changes. Whether you're postpartum, whether you are just, in your normal cycle or menopause, whatever it is, there have been major changes in the hormone world this past year. Here's what I have to say. So remember we talked about inflammation. There are so many contributing factors that can cause hormone disruption. Okay, first I want to go over the easy ones that I talk about on the daily, I feel like. Literally. So, getting enough sleep, right? These are all basics, but you guys, if I were to talk to you right now one-on-one and ask you, are you getting enough sleep? Are you putting your phone away 2 hours before bedtime? Are you eating well? Are you eating living foods such as kombucha? Are you eating greens and getting those enzymes into your body, right? Okay, because those enzymes help to move things out. Are you pooping? Okay, are you eliminating those toxins that are coming in? Are you getting them out? if you're not pooping daily or twice a day, pretty sure you probably have some hormonal issues, right? Acne, skin issues, rage, like there's so many things that can cause it, right? So then I would ask you, what does your daily routine look like? Are you using products that are endocrine disrupting, meaning they're toxic to your liver, and your liver is the main source of control over filtering hormones, right? So are you making your liver that much more toxic by putting these, what kind of shampoo are you using? What kind of, are you using a decent hand sanitizer that is plant-based? Are you using makeup that is clean? Are you using, these are the things that are super important and are easy to start ditching and switching, okay? They're super easy, and it doesn't have to take rocket scientists or a ton of money. Sorry, I almost swore. Or I get really passionate about this. It doesn't have to take a lot, and you can get good products for very, very reasonable, and you can even make your own if you're into that. But there are so many different ways that you can incorporate those into your life, right? So in starting with just one thing is the best way, okay? Because once you start getting into a routine and start eliminating things like sugars, boxed food, all of those things, are you sweating enough? Are you getting that lymph going? Sometimes you can do dry brushing to kind of move that lymphatic system around. So these are things that you can do that I can't do for you. I can share until my face is blue, but I can't do it for you. I can't wash your hair every day. I can't, I can tell you what brands are good and what products are good, but I can't do it for you. And then after that, I talk a lot about supplements, but supplements aren't going to help anything if you're not changing your lifestyle, okay? So in a hormone world, like those are the main things that you need to be doing. And if you're not doing them, you're not going to see change. You're not going to be able to, I'm sorry, I'm just preaching, but like it really takes effort in trial and error to see like what affects you. So what works for me may not work for you, okay? That being said, when our estrogen is off, estrogen is actually an inflammatory substance in our body. When we have high estrogen, so things that can cause high estrogen would be a low progesterone. Things that can cause high estrogen would be your laundry detergent actually has xenoestrogens in it if it is not a clean estrogen. Fragrance can have xenoestrogens, and when we wear that on our body, that gets absorbed into our skin and can make our estrogen levels a lot higher. There are other things that can cause high estrogen, PCOS, which is an inflammatory response of your uterus, right? High stress levels, and even trauma can cause stress. So if you have like something significantly traumatic that has happened to you, whether it be more recent or in the past, this can cause stress, which raises your inflammatory response and cause issues. Now, when our bodies are stressed, our endocrine tries to level it out, okay? Our endocrine system tries to equalize it, and the first thing to shut off in our bodies is our reproductive system, okay? If the endocrine system is under a lot of stress, so if you have high cortisol levels, if you have a lot of stress and you're not sleeping and there's all these things, right? It's like this terrible cycle. That can cause your body to not ovulate, right? Which then sends your periods either later or earlier, depending on when it is. Now, I want to talk really quick. I'll talk about it in a second. in regards to natural birth control and birth control for just a hot second, that is like a whole nother IGTV that we'll talk about some other time, because there's a lot to it. And I don't want to, your time is precious to me. So, when you can look at your body and know like what is going on, like, are you stressed? Oh, maybe I'm not sleeping well. Well, why am I not sleeping well? When you can get to the root cause of the problem after you've tried all of the other things, right? You've ditched and switched. You're using clean products. You're eating really well. You're doing all the things, right? And you're still out of whack. This is where you need to start looking for. So, you guys, 10 minutes of meditation a day has been shown to reduce cortisol levels and stress and anxiety by it's like tenfold. It's really, really crazy, the studies on it. So if you can just find 10 minutes out of your day, and I know a lot of you are busy, and a lot of you have said, I don't have time for that. So I want you to say, instead of I don't have time for that, I want you to say it's not important to me. Because if it's not important to you, then don't do it. But here's the thing. If it can make a life-changing habit and a life-changing thing for your body and for your hormones, is it important to you? So you really need to make time for yourself. And I don't mean to bark at you. This is just what I see so many times is, well, I don't have time for it. Well, you do. You need to make time, right? And it's hard. I get it. I am very, very busy, but I'll tell you what, I try to make time, whether it's waking up earlier or going, you can do it before bed. You can do it, maybe incorporate your children into it. Maybe you're breastfeeding and nursing your baby and you're so tired, but you turn on that 10 minutes of meditation and you just sit and relax with your baby. There are ways, and if there's a will, there's a way, right? So, okay, so these are things that you can do in order to help regulate your hormones. And that is why I feel like with all the stressors in the world today and all the chemicals that we're exposed to that we can't control, I feel like if we can just take some control back and be able to get those out of our home, that helps us reduce our chances of having more issues. Does that make sense? Okay. So, heavy bleeding. There are, I don't have good studies on this, okay? But many of the practitioners that I've worked with, many other health practitioners that I've talked with have noticed an increase in bleeding issues among women. Now, heavy bleeding can be caused from, you could have polyps or uterine issues. Maybe you do have PCOS. Remember, it's inflammation. So anything that can reduce inflammation is huge. But these are, there isn't any major research out there that says why women all of a sudden are having heavy bleeding. And so what I would encourage you to do, that if you are a woman who is having heavier bleeding, there are a lot of herbs and supplements that can help manage those symptoms, okay? And I'm happy to help you figure some of those out, and maybe some ones that are right for you, okay? And it's trial and error too. It's not a guaranteed thing. I have found a few things that have helped me with my PCOS. And honestly, you guys, I have a 4-day period now. It's amazing. I know exactly when I'm getting it typically. Last month I did not. It was early. And I blame it on the full moon, by the way. But before I would have a 10-day period and it would be super heavy. I'd have all these clots, and now I literally have a 2-day of heavy, and it's not even that heavy. And it's just, I have been able to go more inward and figure out for myself how to manage that inflammation. And by doing that, it has reduced my my periods, and like honestly I don't even feel like crampy. I don't feel, sometimes I'll feel bloated depending on what I eat, but like typically I don't even know when I'm gonna get it. I mean, I do, but I don't. It just kind of comes and it's like, oh, it's here, and then it's gone. That's how a period should be. So just because you have symptoms of PMS and everyone else has those symptoms does not mean that it's normal, okay? So don't settle for being normal. Settle for being like free of the things like this. Your cycle you should take, and you should really enjoy going through the month and knowing that cycle and that body literacy of, okay, my body is doing this right now, so I need to support it this way. And if this is a whole nother thing as well. So, but I want to talk about fertility methods because I know some of you have asked. So I recently, you guys, I was on birth control since I was like 12 or 13, I can't remember. I think it was 12. And that was for my PCOS, like extreme. I'd bleed through like a pad an hour. It was terrible. Ended up getting on birth control, had tried a million different birth controls, went off, got pregnant, had a baby, got back on birth control with an IUD. It was the Mirena. Had the Mirena out, got pregnant, had a loss, and then I got pregnant again, had another baby, right? And my doctor was like, all right, let's put you on birth control again because you have such terrible bleeding. And it's just been this terrible cycle. And finally I was like, I'm done with it, right? So types of contraceptives that you can get, sorry, it's been a half hour, that you can do without birth control. So for us, my husband ended up getting a vasectomy. It has been beautiful. It has worked. He went for his 2 checks. He has like no more babies in him. Well, he does, but we don't want them right now. And so what I have been doing to get so I got my IUD out, and what I have been doing is I have been tracking my cycles, and it's more like cycle mapping. If you've heard that term, there's in the Catholic world, I am Catholic, natural family planning, you might hear that. It's a little bit different than that because it's religious based, and so there are certain things that are different. So, and we can talk about this like I said, this is going really in depth. And if you have questions about natural family planning or fertility awareness or cycle mapping, I will help you through where to get educated from. Okay, so by knowing my cycle and charting my temperatures, knowing my cervical mucus. Yes, your cervix has mucus all the time. Sometimes it's drier, sometimes it's wetter, and when, those are all ways to help with knowing whether you're fertile or not, and those can be good indicators to help you either get pregnant or not get pregnant, okay? So I highly recommend going to www.graceofthemoon.com, and they have wonderful information on there about body literacy, about cycles, about they have classes if you want. I am actually hoping to get into their program. It's kind of like a master's program for like family planning and fertility awareness. It's called the Fertility Awareness Method is what they do. It's natural family planning in my head, but it's knowing your temperatures in the morning, your waking temperatures. It's knowing your cervical mucus. It's knowing how you're feeling and going based on your body, okay? So that is the natural way. There are other ways to protect against against having a baby, which are condoms, pulling out, right? There's the sponge. There's like there's so many for women, and there's like 2 for men. which is stupid, but anyway, sorry. So those are ways that you can help regain your sense of what your body should be doing and what we have been being taught in the past compared to what is happening now. So maybe you do have a longer period, like, or maybe it took like 36 days for you to get your period. Well, maybe you ovulated later because you're so stressed, your body shut down your ovulation method, right? And it said, I can't ovulate right now. You're so stressed. It's going to take all the energy it needs to ovulate, and I just can't have that. And so maybe you ovulate late, or maybe you don't ovulate until, who knows? Maybe you're not ovulating. And if you're not ovulating, that's a whole nother thing. So those are just some ideas to kind of spur around in your head. So if you're a woman that has been having these issues, go back and think about it. Start keeping a journal of how you're feeling. You guys, I love it's called My Tracker. It's an app, and I literally just put in when I have my period, symptoms that I'm having throughout the month, whether it's migraines or, maybe you have like some weird discharge, or maybe you're having you feel like a little cramp, like maybe you feel that middle schmerz, right? That ovulation pain, things like that. So you can keep track on that app. There's also another app called Natural Cycles app. It is rated to be 99.4 to 99.6% accurate at keeping pregnancy away. But you have to pay for it. And you have to be diligent. So if you are not a person that can wake up and take their temperature, one, I highly recommend, it's called an Oura Ring, O-U-R-A. I am working on saving up for one. They're about $400. There's also the Temp Drop, which is a band around your arm. There's many other ways to know when you are ovulating, because ovulation, estrogen and progesterone work together in order to talk in the body and create the action of ovulation. And so if you have too much estrogen, sometimes you don't have enough progesterone to bind and tell your body to ovulate. Sometimes it's opposite. Sometimes you have too many androgens, and your body's like, I don't even know what ovulation is. I don't have enough estrogen. I don't have enough progesterone, right? So, and like I said, this is a whole nother thing. But when that happens, you really need to know, are your temperatures spiking? Are they dropping? What are your temperatures looking like in order to help you know if you are actually ovulating, okay? So those are some things. Dr. Jolene Brighton, Beyond the Pill, if you're just coming off the pill. You guys, the pill is prescribed for so many things, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So doctors prescribe the pill because they aren't, I'm not going to say they're not educated on it. They aren't, it's not what they specialize in, okay? So doctors don't, unless you go to an endocrinologist, and even at that, an endocrinologist has been trained in medical medicine. They've not been trained in natural health. Unless they have a naturopathic background, which would be freaking amazing if we had one local. I would so go. But I have yet to find someone that I have trusted and liked in that realm of stuff. So, but anyway, Dr. Jolene Brighton has a great book. It's called Beyond the Pill. And if you're looking to get off the pill because you've been put on it for other reasons, I highly recommend reading that. And she talks a lot about what we've talked about today, okay? Also, what else? Oh, Flow Living. Elisa Vitti talks about seed cycling. So if you aren't sure what your body is doing right now, maybe you're postpartum, maybe you're in menopause or in those early stages of perimenopausal, and you're like, I don't know what's happening to my body, start just keeping a journal and seeing how you're feeling, seeing how your body is cycling throughout the month. You can also go to track it with the moon. A lot of times our bodies are synced with the moon. This is how people way back when used to actually track their cycles. And so there are different moon phases that you could be syncing up to. But if you kind of go inward and realize, like see how your body is doing, those are good ways to kind of know what's happening in your body a little bit better. So does anyone have any questions? I know there was like a few on here and I probably talked too long. If you do have questions, drop them in the comments. I will definitely try to answer them for you. If you want to work one-on-one with me, please let me know. I'm taking just a few people a month because I've been so busy, but I'm happy. Everything is donation based, and we kind of just go over like you, and we talk about how you were feeling, things like that, what you're experiencing, and how we can maybe start. And if you do need extra help, how do we get that for you? Okay. As a nurse, I do that all the time. So, okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on hormones and everything else. It's been great. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.